Good evening, everybody. It's Lisa. I just wanted to go over a couple things before tomorrow's night's meeting. It's more of an informational meeting. We're going to go over kind of where we're at midway through the year. I know a lot of homeowners have been asking to actually have a get-together meeting, sit down to kind of go over what has been going on. So I want to give a quick outline of the agenda for tomorrow night. First I want to start out by saying there has been a lot of questions about the board of directors and how we work, how we get our information out, asking the homeowners for their opinions and stuff like that. You are always welcome to email us any ideas, any questions you have, and we will always get right back to you. I've said that a million times and I still mean it. Having said that, the board of directors is an elected board of directors. I don't think people really understand that when you elect people to represent you, they don't necessarily always go to the homeowners for their opinions or their insight on most things. It's kind of like your legislators and your senators. You don't talk to your senators every day and they're not calling you asking you for your opinion. Having said that, your opinion does matter. But we are not going to be asking homeowners their opinion on a new management company or their opinion on, the day-to-day operations and the stuff that we have privileged information to make decisions on your behalf. That's part of being the board of directors. We have a lot of information that your average everyday homeowner does not have access to. I will get to how that plays into a lot of stuff that's been going on lately. But going back to the informational meeting tomorrow night, I'm gonna look at my notes, sorry. Some of the things that we are going to talk about on the agenda is the 211 widening project. There's not a whole lot going on with that right now, but we're going to kind of discuss it. We're going to go over where we're at with the street lights, a possible amenity plan for the front fields, the bus stop that we're working on, the flower fields that we've been talking about since last year when we had the annual meeting. Going to talk a little bit about Booth Pond drainage and the DOT coming out and taking a look at that. Fire ant treatment for the fields, so when we have our get-togethers, we aren't sitting in ants if we have a concert or a barbecue or anything like that. And just regular activities that we would like to maybe be doing in the future. We will also Roger will run down a quick financial report, and we will be taking questions. Going into questions, you will be allowed 2 minutes to speak and ask questions in regards to what we have covered in the meeting. If it is something personal or something you want to discuss about you personally, then that is something that we are considering regular business hours, and you can contact us to answer those personal questions. Now, if you have a question in general, like, hey, these rules and regulations, how does this work? How does that work? That's what we're going to be talking about and how we're going to do the format for the meeting. Things that we're not going to do at the meeting tomorrow night. It is an informational only meeting, so it is not going to be an official meeting. So there have been a couple things that have been circulated throughout the neighborhood. There is a particular homeowner that has been sending private messages on the Nextdoor app wanting to dissolve the HOA. And there is rumors that they are going to try and dissolve the board of directors or try and vote either one or multiple members off the board. I'm just going to squash that right now. There will be no motions to dismiss anybody or anything. I already have the 20% in signatures to squash it, so it can just stop right here, right now. I have contacted enough homeowners that want the HOA and that are happy with your board of directors. You've got to have 80% to do either one of those, and you do not have the votes, so that it will not be discussed tomorrow night. Also, there have been there was a letter put in some people's mailboxes in regards to things that the board of directors are or are not doing. There is a very small number of people, I would say about 5 or 6 homeowners that are just unhappy. I don't think they will ever be happy. However, some of the things that they've put out about the board of directors are completely false. And just because we don't do things in the manner that they see fit or that they would do it does not mean that it's not being done or that it was done inappropriately. One of the things in the letter stated that the board of directors did not get rid of Little and Young immediately. Once again, that goes back to that privileged information, the things that the board of directors works on, and we did our job and we got it done. They are no longer our property management company. We will go ahead and discuss Little and Young a little bit at length tomorrow night, but we did our job. I don't have the actual letter here. See if I can find it right quick. But I want to put a squash on all these rumors of what the board is or is not doing. If you're not happy with what's going on, you need to run for the board. Having said that, there are a couple people out there. One has tried to run for the board and is always in violation of our covenants and bylaws, so you cannot be on the board of directors if you can't follow the rules. The other one had an opportunity to be on the board and quit. So missed opportunity. Sorry about your luck. I can't stress enough that just because people are allowed doesn't mean they're right. If you have something for the board of directors, we are always listening and we are always here. No matter what your opinions or what your focus is, we're here to listen. We're not always going to agree with you. That's just the way it works. So having said that, there are also things with people saying, well, so-and-so did this, or the board of directors did this. The board of directors, the old board of directors, I can honestly say, did some things that most homeowners did not agree with. And all I can say is I'm not the old board. We are not the old board of directors. We're not going to build on their past mistakes. We have started fresh. We've got a new management company. We've got a new way of doing business, a more friendly way that I would hope makes our homeowners a lot more happy than just receiving a letter saying you're in violation. Phone calls are being made and, just being neighborly. Hey, what can we do to help you? So the fact that people have said, that the old board of directors did this or did that, I can't help you with that. We're not the old board, and I'm not going to build on their past mistakes or any of the past. We're moving forward, and I feel like there's a couple homeowners that just want to keep dragging up the past, like getting rid of the board of directors and the HOA. I think with that, my favorite saying is stay in your lane. I tell my 10-year-old all the time, you worry about you and you won't have anything else to worry about. When I say stay in your lane, when a homeowner comes out on the Nextdoor app yelling about how the board of directors foreclosed on a soldier who was killed in action, A, that's a false statement. And B, it had nothing to do with you personally, and you don't know the circumstances which surround that. Goes back to that privileged information that the board of directors has, and that's our job. So my advice is, if you stay in your lane, everything will be fine. If you hear something like, hey, the board of directors foreclosed on a fallen soldier's widow, or whatever the story is being spread out there. First off, any smart person that hears a story like that should do their homework. Don't go spread the rumor to the next person. And, there's that game called telephone where it ends up being some major falsehood by the time you get to the end of the line and the last person has told the story. So with that, the home in question that was a big drama on the Nextdoor app, and that homeowners are stopping other homeowners to say how awful we are as a board of directors. When the board of directors, this particular board of directors, came into office, there is a home where a soldier had been killed in action. It's been about 3 years ago. For 3 years, that home sat vacant, and it accrued the $300 a year homeowner's dues, just like any other home. It also accrued mowing costs because we actually paid out of our HOA funds to maintain that home. When I came on as board president, I didn't know anything about the soldier passing away, didn't even know it had happened. A homeowner brought it to my attention that the yard needed maintained, and I quickly contacted Little and Young and told them to get busy on it. There's no reason for it to look like that. I think one of the problems with the word foreclosure and the word lien are totally misconstrued. When a home racks up enough bills and you keep sending notices, hey, you need to pay this, and with that certain circumstance, we didn't have anybody to send anything to, lack of information. So after a certain amount of money accrues, you have to file a lien. We were informed that that home had gone into foreclosure, and when a home does go into foreclosure, it wasn't us that put the home in foreclosure. We heard that it went into foreclosure for lack of payment. So when you know that a home is going into foreclosure, you have to file a lien to get your money back when they foreclose on the home. You won't get it all back, but you can at least get some. And we were going to recoup some of those mowing costs and stuff when the home foreclosed. The home did not go into foreclosure, and it did get transferred to the gentleman's sister. After Sean had posted about mowing, I sent him a private message. I did ask him for permission to share what we talked about. The homeowner has asked us not to maintain the yard. That is her property, and it is in my opinion, a whole new homeowner. The gentleman, Michael Cathcart, no longer lives there. He does not own the home. It is his sister's home now. She has asked us not to maintain it. Therefore, if a homeowner in the neighborhood decides, hey, I'm going to do a good deed, and just goes on her property without permission, A, she could sue them, and B, if you got hurt, she would sue you for being on her property if anything got damaged or you got hurt. I'm not saying don't go do it. I'm saying as a board of directors, I have to advise Sean he should not do it because she has asked us not to go on her property. It's trespassing. I know his heart is in the right place, and I totally applaud him for being such a wonderful hearted human being. His post on the Nextdoor app went from somebody trying to do something good to a homeowner having to try and drag the HOA in the mud for filing a lien on or foreclosing on the house when it was never foreclosed on. It turned into a big to-do about nothing because somebody decided that they wanted to put out what they thought was done, which was not. If you have a question, ask. That's usually the best way to get an answer. The worst thing to do is sit and accuse people and lie and accuse people of doing something that they didn't do. I don't handle that very well, and I don't appreciate it. This board of directors is straightforward and honest, and when you say something false, such as we paid $1,000 for a meeting venue, or that we foreclosed on a fallen soldier, which I would never do, those things hit home, and they're personal attacks. Yes, we are the board of directors, but those same few people just keep on attacking and attacking. And having said that, I will not be posting on the Nextdoor app. I will not answer any of your questions. And I'm done with the Nextdoor app. I tried to explain to people that we would try and get videos out and try and make it a positive place, but I'm done. I think that the very few people have ruined it for the many, and I'm sorry for that. My big thing is, if you would like to email me, I will put you in a group email so I can get information out to you when I put it out, or when we as a board, if you're not wanting to wait for the newsletters or the meetings, then shoot me an email, say, hey, put me in that group, and I will periodically shoot out a little blurb of what we've got going on for the month. But other than that, I'm not going to be doing this. The attacks are just childish, evil, and awful. I just don't do it. The Nextdoor app, I am a lead on the Nextdoor app, and there is another homeowner here that is a lead on the Nextdoor app. I was also accused of censoring people's First Amendment, and let me just say, there are rules on the Nextdoor app. There are guidelines that you agreed to when you signed up for it. Having me being a lead, I agreed to enforce those rules and make sure that people are following them. Whether you like the rules or not, the rules are the rules, and I will follow them to the letter. If you attack somebody or you start harassing somebody, I will delete your post. It's the rules. It has nothing to do with me shutting you down. It has to do with you're being ugly and nobody wants to hear it. I will continue to do that. So I will continue to monitor the Nextdoor app, but you will not be seeing us answering anything for the board of directors. It will come directly through the email. You can send me a private message. I will answer those. You can still call me, but I will not be doing this back and forth crap. I'm done with it. It's childish. So I know that wasn't what everybody wanted to hear, but that's what we have, and that's where we're at. So once again, tomorrow night, informative meeting. We're going to talk about a lot of things that are going on. We're planning July 1st, 4th of July party out in the field. We're going to do good things. Like I said, there's 5-6 people that I just don't believe will ever be happy, and I'm going to drown those out with good. We are going to make this neighborhood good. We're going to have fun. We're going to have parties and get-togethers and get to know our neighbors and treat them like neighbors. I think that's important. And if they have something that they need to bring to our attention, I represent them just as much as I do anybody. But there are 131 homes in this neighborhood, and I believe with all my heart that there are 125 that are wonderful, good-hearted people that just don't do drama like me. So the drama's over, and you can comment to this post. You can do whatever you want, but just make sure it's not attacking, because I will delete it, and so will the other lead. And there was actually some stuff deleted today that I had nothing to do with. I do believe a homeowner reported it, and the Nextdoor app company actually deleted it. I feel blessed to represent this neighborhood. We have a great board of directors, and we are working on some really wonderful things. Everything takes time. We want to make sure we do it right instead of do it fast. So I want to thank everybody. I want you all to have a good night, and I will see everybody tomorrow night. Thanks.